Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. In a few moments, you're going to hear my thoughts and feelings on episode 4 of Ready to Love Miami. And for this review, I plan to give a brief episode breakdown, followed by my rating for the episode. Then I plan to talk about the connections for the episode. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. As the episode begins, Nephew Tommy encounters a group of the guys as they're fishing, and from the looks of things, not all the guys are there. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Nephew Tommy then tells the guys that he's throwing a yacht party, which I assume is the equivalent to the swimsuit episodes from seasons past. Because it's the men's week to eliminate, they gotta sift through their connections and eventually give one of the women their walking papers. And before the festivities get underway, we learn that Andre was diagnosed with COVID and he decided to leave the show. Andre's departure is significant because he had strong connections with Jeffrey and Cynthia. But the cast members explore their connections while on the yacht, and when it's time for the men to deliberate in the gentleman's lounge, the ladies that are nominated for elimination are Marcia, Corvea, and Jeffrey. But even before they're nominated, the guys have an intense discussion on whether or not they should use their elimination pass. We see that DeMario is turning into Suge Knight, and he orders the rest of the guys to use the pass because two of his connections are up for elimination, while Mark Anthony is completely against using the pass because he has a few connections that he wants to continue exploring. Well folks, the episode ends before we can find out who got eliminated, but here's my prediction. I think that Corvea got eliminated. Let's face it, nearly all the guys on the show hate her, and the previews for the next episode show Jeffrey in the women's lounge. I don't think Marcia got the boot because she's 10 times more likable than Corvea, and I also don't think that the men would unanimously agree to use the elimination pass so soon. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give this episode a solid 2. It was indeed a waste of time with the unnecessary drama and bickering, and the cliffhanger ending was not needed in my opinion. So if you have not seen the episode yet, then I would strongly advise you to treat it like a bill collector and avoid it. But let's get into the connections for the episode. We have Mark Anthony meeting with Jeffrey. They go on a date where the activity is riding a mechanical bull. I'm sure that Mark Anthony was wishing that he was the mechanical bull that Jeffrey was riding. But after the fun, they have a sit down and get to know each other. So it's pretty obvious that they have mutual level of physical attraction, but I don't think that Mark Anthony is ready to be a stepdad yet, while Jeffrey is looking for somebody to promote to her number one connection. We then see Blue going on a date with Marcia, and I must say, Marcia has the puppies on full display. I'm sure that Blue was picturing himself motorboating such a wonderful creation from God. But as they talk while eating oysters, I'm really not getting romantic vibes between the two of them. I'm sure that time will tell though. We then see Anthony go on a date with Cynthia. They're having good conversation, but during this time, I'm not getting any romantic vibes from them. I don't think Cynthia is physically attracted to Anthony, and I still have Anthony as being voted off before the finale. It was nice to see Blake and Sue-Ann having their one-on-one time. I was a little surprised that Blake got Sue-Ann a gift, which he described was for her being in his corner for last elimination. In other words, Sue-Ann was the wind beneath Blake's wings, and Blake is hoping that this gift buys him some time on the show. In my opinion, Blake is either the next guy to get eliminated or the guy after that, and no amount of gifts can save him from Jeffrey's wrath. We then have Morgan and Tony. It's clear that Morgan is feeling Tony, but she knows that Tony is still testing the waters. Morgan knows how to play the game, and she uses Lyndon to make Tony jealous. From the looks of the episode 5 preview, Morgan's power play works because Tony is getting a nice DNA exchange and kiss from her. We then see DeMario still a little hurt because Jeffrey chose Mark Anthony over him. He attempts to double down on his connection with Corvea, but it's pretty clear that Corvea's future husband is not on the show. Or Miami for that matter. And Corvea reminds me of an evil Hillary Banks. We also get to see Blake trying to talk to Jeffrey about the incident from last episode. This was a complete disaster from start to finish. First, Jeffrey made it pretty clear that she did not want to leave her place of comfort and talk to Blake in private. I assume that production put them up to the scene, and once they had their privacy, Jeffrey was on 10 with the aggressive and combativeness towards Blake. Now granted, if Blake really had something he wanted to talk to Jeffrey about, he should have said it with his chest instead of dancing around the issue. But Jeffrey was in defensive mode and wasn't in a good space to receive anything that Blake had to say to her. But this marks the end of the review. Yeah, this episode was a waste of time, but there are some entertaining parts within it. If you have any comments related to the episode or the review, feel free to leave them below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.